Hey, how are you? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Salut, ¿cómo se va? I'm back and with audio that won't go in and out constantly. I know I keep mentioning that mistake from the last video, and the reason is because I'm really self-conscious of looking not smart. But let's let bygones be bygones and get into the redesign of Lilac Blossom. The technology is the same shit in Tuos Wacom tablet and FireAlpaca. When approaching her design, I was admittedly kinda lost. While I knew I was discontent with the past design, I wasn't sure how to fix it. This is gonna sound really self-deprecating and poor me, but I just thought that the old design kinda looked stupid. Why does her top cut off at that awkward length? What is the purpose of the circle motif? Why doesn't she really evoke flower? Not even like she doesn't evoke a lilac flower, like she doesn't evoke any flower. Which, although this was very shitty to feel, it did help with revisions because I knew what I didn't want. In turn, when you know what you don't want, you can sort of figure out what you do want. I wanted her to resemble the actual plant more. I needed her outfit to look like an actual real outfit someone would wear. So I had a few starting points. I sort of touched in this on the daffodil speed paint, but I do take into account the history and symbolism of the flower. The lilac had a few attributes I could use. While it is a bush, it apparently grows to be very tall, so I knew I wanted her to be on the taller side in terms of proportions. I was thinking circa 6'5", 6'6", that sort of height. In terms of the origin of the plant, I ran into some dead ends. All sources that I read implied the plant was from the Balkan Peninsula and that sort of region, but the name of the plant is from an Arabic word. So I'm to assume the plant is most likely Eurasian, as most things are if AP World taught me anything. What I mean from all this is, for daffodils, that's a flower from and associated with Northern Europe. So I made her blonde and all that. This is, of course, less to say that all flowers have a certain kind of race and look to them, because that wouldn't really be fair. It's more meant to be a celebration of different culture, because I also don't think it would be fair to have a flower that has its origins in populations or areas that are not commonly representative, or especially if it has significance in a culture, and that's not represented in the character design. On the related note of appearance, while writing this, I realized that all of my female identifying characters in Watermeals Creek are chubby in some way. While I know some may give me flack for this, I would argue that not only is each girl chubby in a unique way, but as a fat girl, I want a part of my work to be a celebration of fatness. I also want to show all that comes with it. I don't just want the standard curvy girl in representation. I want fat rolls, I want stretch marks, I want dimpling, I want double chins. I feel like so much of body positivity movement is just feel good about your body, when, regardless of how you feel about your body, fatness is still hated by the media on some level. Feeling good about my body doesn't help fat people get adequate health care. This shouldn't be a rant video. My only point is that since I'm just starting my medical education this fall, and will most likely not be a doctor until a little less than a decade from now, I want my contribution to be making positive representation with happy, squishy fat girls. And if someone takes issue with that, request thee to put me in the stocks and humiliate me in the square. You guys deserve more art discussion though, and not a crusade of fatness, so I felt she needed more green in her, because the actual lilac is a bush. Well, it's green and bushy. So my idea was to appear as the bushel, bundle, cluster, well, whatever the cone-shaped the blossoms make is called. I'm sure there's a name for it. But I wanted to evoke the look of the cone of flowers surrounded by leaves, so her clothes are mostly purple with green details. I got to have a bit more fun with lilac because the flower comes in different shades of pink and purple. Also, in her last design, I did not take advantage of that, but I felt the colors I chose seemed more lavender-esque than lilac, So I made sure that the purples were more light and had variance. I also had to consider the actual real world use of lilac. It's a therapeutic oil, also a very common color used, and the actual plant itself is most typically used for scent or garden decoration. Based on that, I've made the decision to make her a shut-in painter misanthrope without giving too much plot away. Lilacs in this world are usually in groups and are a sophisticated, almost royal type of people. However, over the years, Lilac Blossom lost her family and became more of the eccentric rich type rather than the sophisticated rich type. So my idea is that Daffodil is a newcomer to Watermills Creek, and everyone's like, oh no, no one's checked on that family in years. They're weird, you really probably shouldn't go up there. But Daffodil's really friendly and goes up anyway and befriends this weirdo artist who spends time in this house with a bunch of incense and creates lovely paintings and is blinded by the light of the outside because she spends so much time inside. Well, I'm still not sure if she's actually blind or if she's born blind or because she's been living in the inside so much that she's practically blind. I'm still sort of figuring that concept of her character out, especially because I gave her white eyes. It's I'll get there when I'll get there. You know, it's not that important. I mean, it's important, but it's not on the top of my plate right now. Anyway, that's why she has paint on her legs, because that's something I do as an artist myself when I'm working traditionally. I like to put paint on my knees. It's also why I chose the clothes I chose, like a bushy sweater, shorts, and rib socks. I feel like these make her look like an actual lilac bush, but sort of have that artsy aesthetic. They're also very comfy clothes, so it would make sense for her to wear, I don't know what the word would be, I suppose, loose clothes that you could wear around the house and move your legs in and just, you wouldn't get stuck that often. I don't even know if that makes sense, but that was my thought process with her look. Overall, admittedly, sometimes I put myself a little too much into a character, so I'm trying not to do that here, especially as a chubby, almost misanthropic woman myself. Another big aspect to her design was I wanted her to complement Daffodil. So Daffodil is probably a shorter 5'5"-esque, well, maybe more like 5'-foot-esque blonde girl, so she's very yellow and green. And even though Daffodil has green on her, it's obviously a very warm-toned green, and similar with the white, it's more cream, whereas on Lilac, she's not only purple, which is complementary to yellow, her greens are very desaturated and cool-toned, and her whites are rooted and blues and purples. So I really got to have fun with color theory, so I know that these characters are going to look real good together. Anyway, I feel like there's not much more to say about this particular piece. Wow, I feel like I actually got through this script pretty quick, and by script I meant my anxiety, almost ADD brain just wrote down whatever was on my mind and I read it. And turns out that works because I could get through it pretty quickly. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Consider liking and subscribing, or even commentating that you thought this video sucked or was great or something. I recently opened commissions. I know they're a touch expensive, but not only are they a ballpark estimate, so that means that your particular commission could be higher or lower depending on what it is. But also I am currently a broke college student and I do not feel like starting a watch company. So if you want to look at that, the details will be in the description along with everything else. My Etsy shop will be in there for not art, but I do knitting, along with my Twitter and Instagram. And my Tumblr. I was not kidding about the porn blogs, by the way. Could some of you please follow my Tumblr? I'm worrying that the porn blog followers are starting to outnumber the actual blog followers. People are gonna think my blog's a porn blog. I really hope they don't. And I don't think I have anything else. I could put my DeviantArt down there, but I figure no one gives a shit about that, right? Oh, whatever, I'm rambling now. Have a good day, bye.